The State Duma election is over. According to the Kremlin media and Putin, it was transparent and honest. In turn, instead of openness and honesty during the 3-day voting, the EU saw intimidation, pressure on the opposition and compulsion to voting of not only the population of the occupied Crimea, but also residents of the territories of Donetsk and Luhansk regions uncontrolled by Ukraine.
Is that these elections have taken place in an atmosphere of intimidating critical and independent voices, and these elections took place without credible international observation. We will never recognize the elections in illegally annexed Crimea, because Crimea is Ukraine, and we are also concerned by the fact that citizens of Ukraine and population from Ukrainian territories in the east, which are currently not under the control of the legitimate Ukrainian government, have been given passports in order to participate in these Russian elections.
Moreover, human rights activists emphasize that in the occupied Crimea, where almost 50% of the population allegedly voted, the results should be at least halved.
In Crimea, this election was held the same way as in Russia. It is quite obvious that both the administrative resource and the ballot stuffing were used, and accordingly the votes were wound up in favor of United Russia Party.
Another attempt to legitimize the electoral process in the occupied peninsula was the arrival of the so-called international observers. They were former French MP Michel Voisin, member of the National Assembly of France Jérôme Lambert, and Serbian politician Dusan Petrovic. No organization sent them officially to the occupied Crimea to observe the election.
Several marginal politicians cannot be considered as international observers in the illegal election in Crimea. They do not represent anyone but themselves. From the very beginning, foreign governments have very clearly stated that they will not recognize such election. Upon request of Ukraine, foreign governments explained their politicians why do they have to refrain from traveling to Crimean Peninsula.
The occupation authorities did not get the expected result in Donbas uncontrolled by Kyiv as well. It was supposed that 450,000 people from there will give their vote, online or offline, having left with legally obtained Russian passports to the Rostov region. As a result, only 150,000 voted. Most of them were forced to do it.
Those who were forced through the administrative resource voted. People who did not want to take part in this tried to leave. People tried to distance themselves from the process using all excuses possible. Residents of temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine did their job. That was their silent protest. They did not vote. They have silently sent Russia away.
The Ukrainian parliament has also responded to the illegal election organized in the occupied Crimea and Donbas.
I think the resolution on the condemnation of election to the State Duma will soon be prepared by the relevant committee, and there will be no obstacles. On Wednesday we are going to try to vote it. It is understandable and will be widely supported by Parliament.
Illegal election has already been condemned in the White House. The United States consider the organization of voting in temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine to be a direct violation of sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine stated that together with international partners it is collecting all the evidences of violation. And soon it will present them in international courts. In addition, the ministry is confident that illegitimate election will entail new, effective sanctions against Russia. Reported by Vadim Kromer and Irina Kovalenko, UATV News.